confident that the infinite will take care of it. We're so fortunate. God is the boat, and God is the boatman. It's by God's grace we're gonna cross this earthly ocean. We learn our lessons from the sun. It falls equally on everyone. To be confident that the infinite will take care of it. We're so fortunate to be confident that the infinite will take care of it. We're so fortunate. Sun don't shine, we're learning from the rain. It falls equally on everyone the same. We learn our lessons from the sun. It shines equally on everyone. To be confident that the infinite will take care of it. We're so fortunate to be confident that the infinite will take care of it. We're so fortunate. That the infinite will take care of it. We're so fortunate to be confident that the infinite will take care of it. We're so fortunate. That's the music of Guru Singh. Guru Singh. We have come here to love one another. We have come here to let our love grow. Hey, good morning. We have come here with sisters and brothers, and we carry this love everywhere that we go. Oh, 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 oh. Oh, 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 oh. We have come here to love one another. We have come here to let our love grow. We are family, we're sisters and we're brothers, and we carry this love everywhere that we go. Oh, 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 oh. Amen. Yes. Oh, 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 oh. We have come here to love one another. We have come here to let our love grow. We are family, we're sisters and brothers, and we carry this love everywhere that we go. Oh, 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 oh. Yeah. Thank you, family. Oh, 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 oh. I feel you. Let's try again. We have come here to love one another. Let's repeat that. We have come here to love one another. We have come here to let our love grow. We have come here to let our love grow. Next line is, we are family, we're sisters and we're brothers. Try that. We are family, we're sisters and we're brothers. And it says, and we carry this love everywhere that we go. Oh, 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 oh. Yeah, yeah, I love it. Here we go. We have come here to love one another. We have come here to love one another. We have come here to let our love grow. We have come here to let our love grow. We are family, we are family. We're sisters, sisters, and we're brothers. And we carry this love everywhere that we go. Oh, 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 oh. Oh, 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 oh. Yes. We have come here to love one another. We have come here to love one another. We have come here to let our love grow. We have come here to let our love grow. We are family, we are family. We're sisters and we're brothers, and we carry this love everywhere that we go. Oh, 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 oh. Oh, 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 oh. Yes, I love it. We have come here to love one another. We have come here to love one another. We have come here to let our love grow. We have come here to let our love grow. We are family, we're sisters and we're brothers, and we carry this love everywhere that we go. Oh, 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 oh. Yeah, it feels good in the room. So you at home, I hope it feels good for you. We're feeling good here in this room. Yes, we have had a great weekend already. Just keep that flow going. Yes. Oh, 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 oh. Yes, I love that. That's so much fun, isn't it? Music makes the heart a happy place. It really is. Yeah, more families coming in. In your eyes, I recognize the truth, the beauty, and the power of your pure spirit. I know who you are beyond what you have done, beyond what has happened to you. I see your essence and your magnificence. I see it in you and in me. I salute the divine in you and in us all. One love, one life, one spirit, one heart, 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 one love, one life, one spirit. This is the day. You are a blessing to the world, and you are all you know that you can be. This day you shine for the divine. One heart, one love, one life, one spirit. One heart, one love, one life, one life, one spirit, one spirit, one heart, one love, one life, 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 one spirit. Ashe, amen. All right. Yes, indeed. Give yourselves a round of applause here in the room. Beautiful day to be with you and to be with you at home as well. At this time, I invite you in the room to stand if it feels comfortable for you. Stand in spirit. That's the way we look at that. And join us as we sing one of our opening songs that's so near and dear to us in our hearts. There is a space in my heart where I can find the truth. I find me in you. Truth beyond what you may see now. But when we are one, we bring more good about. No matter who or what you call yourself or where you come from, yeah. There is a place in this world with open arms right now. Welcome to love, welcome to peace, welcome to our community. Be who you are, let your light shine. We're so much more when we unite. You are welcome here. You are welcome here. See with new eyes, amen. Allow and unfold, embrace and let go. Trust the flow. There's a freedom in love when you follow your heart. Together we are stronger than we could ever be apart. No matter who or what you call yourself or where you come from, yeah. There is a place in this world with right now, yeah. Welcome to love, welcome to peace, welcome to our community. Be who you are, let your light shine. We're so much more when we unite. You are welcome here. You are welcome here. Breathe in and out. Slowly feel all that's around you. All that you feel, all that you know. Let it go. Welcome to love, welcome to peace, welcome to our community. Be who you are, let your light shine. We're so much more when we unite. You are welcome here. Love is welcome here. Peace is welcome here. You
Good morning and welcome everyone. My name is Richard Moy and I proudly serve as a licensed practitioner here at the Spiritual Living Center of Atlanta. We want to welcome all of you at home watching and all of you here in the room as well. What a beautiful day outside here in Atlanta. I hope you're having a beautiful day where you are. We are a center that educates and engages the speaker on their spiritual path. As a member of the global movement Centers for Spiritual Living, our mission is to provide spiritual tools for personal and global transformation. Our purpose is to awaken humanity to its spiritual magnificence, and our vision is a world that works for everyone. So whether it's your first time, if you are watching from home, or if you are a member, SLCA is where you belong. We're grateful for your presence this morning.
All right. Good morning, community. Good morning. Good morning. So good to see you all. It is a good day. Thank you, Richard. I'm going to do today's affirmation here in just a moment. Today is Palm Sunday. Hi. It's about as traditional as we get in this kind of church, right? Now, I'll talk a little bit more about it a little bit later, but it is a wonderful way to usher in the spring and all kinds of new energy, and we'll talk about the metaphysics of that today. So our affirmation today, I'll read it, and then I'll ask you to say it with me. Today, I dance with the divine, knowing every step of my journey is rightly ordered. I move with the creative flow, knowing I have come to break every chain of affliction that holds me back from my true, authentic self. Today, I take the triumphant journey into my wholeness. Yes? Does that feel good? You like it? Let's say it together. Take a breath. Today, I dance with the divine, knowing every step of my journey is rightly ordered. I move with the creative flow, knowing I have come to break every chain of affliction that holds me back from my true, authentic self. Today, I take the triumphant journey into my wholeness. And so it is. Let's have a great day together.
Connect, grow, serve, and give. Living life where you belong. Connect, grow, serve, and give. Loving everyone. You belong. You belong. Welcome,
Hey guys, I'm Richard.
And I'm Dennis, the Easter Bunny at the Spiritual Living Center of Atlanta. Join us on Easter Sunday for our celebration of Easter bonnets.
So in the meantime, get your tool, your peeps, your flowers, your ribbon, and of course,
The
your
glue gun! Anyway, be prepared for an inspiring message from the Reverend David Alexander. And if you wish to bring a shared treat, please do so. We look forward to seeing you on Sunday.
Bye.
Good morning, good morning. My name is Idella Veal, and I proudly serve as a licensed practitioner here at the Spiritual Living Center of Atlanta, and I come this morning with announcements. Yes! Oh, I love the excitement. Because I'm excited to tell you about opportunities to connect, grow, serve, and give at our center. For more information about today's announcements, please take a moment to scan the QR code found either on the back of the seat in front of you or the one displayed on your monitor. You may also visit our website at SLCA.com. Did you know that each of our messages, our talks, that they're available in podcast form? Okay. This is a wonderful way to share with others or connect an inspirational message during a busy week, check out our website for more information. Now I want to tell you about an exciting way to grow. Adult Study meets every Sunday morning, 9 a.m. Yes. Yes. We've got a lot of excitement on that. These enlightened beings. Yes, party in the back room, the room where it happens. Both in person at SLCA and on Zoom, via Zoom. This study group explores the Science of Mind magazine each week, and is led by three of our amazing, phenomenal practitioners. That would be Catherine Wallace-Dannell, Dale Williams, and Baji Daniels. Yes. For those wishing to serve at SLCA, we have several amazing opportunities. If you love this teaching and want to help our youth learn more about how this philosophy can shape their lives, then we would love to have you join Youth Connect. Youth Connect. We're asking for a commitment to assist one Sunday a month, just one Sunday a month. Reverend Jean Bell will be happy to answer any questions you may have. We have any technology lovers in here? Well, I see a few hands. So, if you love technology, would you like to learn more about our media ministry by joining our team? We would love to talk to you after the service to explore ways to get involved. All right. Coffee and sweet treats. That perked you up. Are the perfect way to begin a Sunday service. That is why we're looking for those that enjoy hospitality to join our hospitality team. Check in with our team after service to see how you can help. We would like to thank our loyal pledgers and each of you that faithfully gives to SLCA. To find ways to connect, grow, serve, and give, visit our digital program or our information wall in the lobby after service. Practitioners are available this morning for prayer after service, both in person and on chat. If you wish to receive affirmative prayer, our online practitioner will provide their email so you can arrange a time. For in-person treatment, our practitioners will be found after service on both sides of the room. Thank you for joining us this morning. You are welcome here, and have a great week.
And now it's time in our service to go in and have affirmative prayer, also known as spiritual mind treatment. So wherever you are today, here in the service or at home, if you would just settle yourself in your physical body. If you're seated, just relax. If you're lying down, you may want to close your eyes. I'm going to say this affirmative prayer in the first person, and if you would take what resounds with you and make it your own. Anything else, just leave it by the wayside. Take in a deep breath, breathing in. Just let it out. And know this truth with me. I know that there is one God, one absolute power, one first cause to all things. This divine intelligence which created all that is always present, always with us. It is everywhere present. It is omnipotent, omniscient. This power is all giving and all loving. I see this power evidenced all around me in the abundance of springtime in this part of the world as the flowers are blooming, the grass is growing, the trees are budding their leaves. It's an infinite universe that we live in, and it's a sign of God's givingness to us all. I am one with this power. I am one with this creative force because God is within me, and all that God is within me. I too am creative. I too am beautiful. I too am full of limitless possibility. And I am powerful because that creative force of God is channeling through me as me. And as I open my mind and my consciousness to that power and allow it to work through me, the possibilities are limitless. I recognize that divine nature within me, and I allow myself to be all that I can be. I am a unique divine expression of that power. I allow the desires of my heart to manifest themselves. I know that anything that is not in accordance with that divine expression of God, I allow it to dissolve away into the nothingness from which it came. I let it fall away, making room and making space for new beginnings, for new possibilities. And I expectantly look forward to each day knowing that I am becoming more of all that I can be. I am in perfect health. I am abundant beyond measure. I am infinitely intelligent. The mind that I think with is the mind of God, and it allows me to make right choices toward right action in every move that I make. I give great thanks for all of this. I give great thanks for this teaching, for this center, which reminds me of who I am, and for everyone here that supports me along my journey. I am grateful for the law that obeys, and as I speak these words, I know it is already done. If you're in agreement with me and with these words, if you would anchor it by saying, "And so it is."
With every prayer, I breathe the heart of God. I breathe the love of God through me. With every prayer, I breathe the heart of God. I breathe the love of God through me. As I open and allow, I know right here and now, I create a world where wonders never cease. With every prayer, I breathe the heart of God. I breathe the love of God through me. Through me. So it is.
probably wondering about the title, Dance of the Fancy Pants. But anybody wear their fancy pants today? Well, there's a story behind this. My poem was not ready to dance, so it needed to kind of marinate for a while. But I do have my partner, and he pulled through. So he wrote this. And I'm going to need your help towards the end. Sometimes the rain falls in my soul till joy grows happy draggled, and then even if my heart stands bold, yet still my gladness straggles. That's when I put on my fancy pants, the ones my spirit sewed with stars. I touch the sky and I start to dance, leaping wide and waltzing far. Then worry leaves like lemonade, and doubts divide like cake. Impatience then grows patient as I whirl like a cool snowflake. Because I wear my fancy pants, the ones my spirit sewed with songs, I touch the sky and I start to dance. I know where I breathe, I'm home. Then all the dull things in the day begin to float like butterflies, while the fairy of curiosity stays to watch me find the first surprise. And yes, I wear my fancy pants, and the ones my spirit made last week. I touch the sky and I start to dance. Everything is all I seek. This is where I need your help. Are you ready? All right. And at home, too, please join call and response. So come, let's wear our fancy pants. We'll dance with hearts of grace. Then tangle through the universe with joy and wonder on our face. Should we go with one more time? All right, come on. Stand up if you have that. Ooh, I like that. All right. Everybody at home, too. So come, let's wear our fancy pants. We'll dance with hearts of grace. Then tangle through the universe. With joy and wonder on our face. All right, get your fancy pants on.
I love it. Dance with fancy pants. That's what you're going to remember out of today. Nothing I'm going to say from now on. You'll be at brunch. You'll be talking to friends. How was church? Oh, it's great. Fancy pants. I love it. Thank you so much, Kathy. Good morning. How y'all doing? Good? I'm not convinced. Are you good? Are you good? Spring is blooming. This month is about creativity. I want to thank the Reverend Jean Bell for her wonderful message last week. She did a great job for us. Yeah. So we're going to continue in that theme of creativity today. Creativity is where it's really the essence of who and what we are. We're creative beings. Have you noticed how creative we are? Right? I mean, we're creative in all of the joyful ways of creativity, like poetry and songs and dance and colors and art and music and all of that. But we're also really creative in creating our drama and our story and avoiding and distracting and, right, warring with each other and finding obstacles, right? We're just infinitely creative, right? Aren't we? You know, for a universe, right? As Einstein said, it's a una, right? Meaning singular, a universe. We have infinite creativity in dividing ourselves, right? So we're going to break down creativity throughout the week, right? Because it's how we press through time and space. It's that thing that will not be denied. It's that thing that calls for our attention and for expression, seen and unseen, always moving through us. The breathtaking scenic vista that takes our breath away when we listen and respond to intuitive nudges and spark the divine dance with creation itself. It's cause and effect. It's creative expression, inspired perception, clear intention, and so much more, right? In our creative arc for this month, we began with individual choice to hear and heed that creative impulse, say yes to the yes. Today we're going to explore, symbolized by Palm Sunday, the growth which occurs as we expand and step out of our comfort zone. And we have many layers of religious tradition to draw on today. Next week we'll bring more clearly into focus Passover and Easter Sunday as transformational episodes in our personal stories. And finally, in the fourth week together, we'll explore bringing our creativity to the world when we dare to present our talents and gifts and passions, when we are both victorious and vulnerable. Today, the nexus of our faith brings into celebration, into focus, so many different layers. We have calendar context of Palm Sunday, the start of Holy Week, Good Friday, Easter Sunday next week, just a few days away. Passover began on Saturday. Last week, Ramadan started. Historically, Passover commemorates the Israelites' liberation from slavery in Egypt. And symbolically, Passover represents that passing over from an old state of consciousness to enter into a new one. Rising in awareness, we transcend the mortal to live from the infinite, the I am. To bring both Palm Sunday and Passover into the creative journey means leaving the predictable walk of the road less traveled, recognizing that our old ways of being must fall away as we choose new adventures of creativity. Our Muslim siblings celebrate Ramadan, fasting from food, fasting from gossiping, fasting from arguing, from lying. It's a time of deep self-reflection and spiritual growth, a time to grow in moral excellence, right? To create and cultivate a greater awareness of the divine in our human relationships with each other. How can we take this time to fast from our beliefs of prejudice or fear or otherness, right? Spiritually and mentally fasting liberates us into creativity and inspiration and love. And so today, in dancing with the divine and putting all of this together, that's a lot to work with, isn't it? That's a lot. I just put it on the table and went, ooh, that's a lot to work with. And I'll start with this. This is a passage from Palm Sunday, 1976, by Howard Thurman in San Francisco when he was installed as the theologian at St. John the Divine. He was far away to the scenes of his childhood, feeling the sawdust beneath his toes in his father's shop. Maybe he's remembering the high holy days in the synagogue with his whole body quickening by the echo of the ram's horn. Or perhaps he was thinking of his mother and how deeply he loved her and how he wished that there had not been laid upon him this great necessity that sent him out into the open road to proclaim the truth, leaving her side forever. It may be that he lived it all over again, that high moment on the Sabbath when he was handed the scroll and he unrolled it to the great passage from Isaiah that said, "The Spirit of the Lord is upon me to preach the good news to the poor." I wonder what was moving through the mind of the Master as he jogged along the back of that faithful donkey. And I love that passage not because we are too embedded in the Christian tradition here, but because it sparks that creativity of wonder. Right? I wonder what was in his mind. I wonder what was happening. You see, there's a tool that I like to use that we use in ministry to bring forward messages and learning, and it's about moving through the lenses of what we call the universal and the particular. Right? The universal and the particular. So the stories of Holy Week and Palm Sunday, those are all the particular things, right? They're things that were written down and, debate on whether they were from eyewitnesses, but, we know that they're decades later, but they're particular parts of the story, right? If you go to watch a movie and you wanted to talk about the particular characters of that movie and the scenes and the script and the things that they went through, those would be the particular. If you and I are sharing about our life and what we're going through, and last week this happened and then that happened and it triggered this, those are the particular, right? But when we examine the particular, when we give ourselves permission to embrace the particular, whether it's ours or another's, as we do during these sort of high holy days of a religious season, when we embrace those particulars, what we do is we gain access to the universal. Because it is a universe, because there's only one of us here, right? There's always in the particular the universal. What Joseph Campbell called, the power of myth, right? The stories are the same stories throughout history. You ever go to a movie and go, this is not new at all, right? This is not a new story, right? It's the same story. It's the same hero's journey, right? A betrayal and resurrection and, coming of age and coming into being. And so it's all the same elements, maybe a slightly different order and a little plot twist at the end. But ultimately, it's the same story because there's something universal about our human journey and the divine wanting to creatively express in, through, and as us. And that's why these stories that are in the Torah and in the New Testament and in other sacred writings last so long. Not because the particularities are historically accurate or more important than any other story that's ever been written, but because they represent and they embody and they have the essence of something universal within them, something that you and I can connect to and see ourselves in. So when we embrace the particular, we gain access to the universal. It works the other way as well. When we examine the universal, in order to really, we can say God is all there is. The universal we're really good at in New Thought. It's affirmations, right? The universe is prosperous. There's infinite energy, infinite love, infinite creativity, et cetera, et cetera. So our affirmations are also often universal statements of being, right? That could be applied to anyone, right? But in order for that universal statement and idea to come into being, it has to do what? It has to travel down that creative arc into creation, into the particular, right? It's got to show up in your life, in your context. What does that mean to you? Yes, it's true that God is all that there is. Yes, it's true that love is infinite. Yes, it's true that the universe is infinitely prosperous. How does that show up for you in your situation, in your dynamic, in your neighborhood, in your ways of being? You understand? So we each have a unique course in life. The particulars are unique to our set of circumstances, right? But there are universal themes that mark the course of human development, awakenings and heartbreak, stories of loss and triumph and return and redemption and rising from the ashes. And so dancing with the divine is really about the dance of the divine is the crucible of becoming. It's the crucible of our becoming. When we are in the dance with the divine, we are in the sacred fire of our authentic becoming. It's the story of the phoenix. It's the story of rising from the ashes, right? Now, I wish I could say that knowing this, the wisdom or insight, if you've gained any so far today, right? That knowing this, that knowing dancing with the divine is the crucible of your becoming, that there are universal themes that move through all of our particularities. I wish I could tell you today that knowing that makes the burden a little bit easier. But I'm not. Because it doesn't, right? It doesn't make it necessarily easier. It just means you can do it with some awareness. And there is, in fact, a big difference between moving through those crucible moments of our life, conscious or unconscious, right? Awake and aware, oh, this is what's happening. Oh, I see. This is, doesn't necessarily make it still painful. Still heartache is still there, broken heart, all of those feelings, right? Feelings are feelings, and they're important, and they're part of the journey. So it doesn't make that part easier, but it allows us to see, oh, okay, there's a greater context that this is occurring in. And so that's what I hope we can do today by embracing some of the particularities of what the stories that are in front of us historically. Ultimately, the story of Palm Sunday and the story of Easter, I always have a hard time on Palm Sunday because it's easy for me to slip into talking about the next. So I got to save that for next week. Don't go too fast. It's a two-part sermon, right? But ultimately, these moments in time are really about moments in consciousness, particularly next week. And I'll just leave that as a cliffhanger there. I've got a lot to say about how it's really just a moment in consciousness, not a historical anything. But if you're curious about that, please come back, because I'll unpack that. And Palm Sunday is also a moment, several moments of consciousness, of intention and awakening and decision making. Of that journey in our life when we decide, I'm going to do that which I've been called to do. I'm going to break the mold. I'm going to transcend the boundaries. I'm going to step boldly out, even though it feels vulnerable and scary. I'm going to do that which I know inside of me can't be denied. That creative spirit that is saying, you must do this, right? In New Thought, we hold the Bible stories and any sacred stories as metaphysical and metaphorical, much as the way that schools of theology did in the first century after Jesus' life. There are 3 of the 4 or 5 schools of theological thought were allegorical. They taught allegorical interpretation of the Bible. And so we hold it in that same way, both allegorical and metaphysical, that we are each of the characters and we see ourselves in them. So central to the story that we are entering in, that humanity is entering in at this time, is the evolution of our consciousness, your consciousness and my consciousness, from the self-conscious awareness of Adam, right? But Adam, which is first being who's neither male nor female, just Adam, first being, brought from the earth, breathed life into, the first being, right? All the way from that journey to the awareness and the resurrection of Christ consciousness, the illumined self of our divine self, the I am that I am, and all of the pitfalls and hero journeys and things that happen in between there and there, right? And it's all kind of packaged and doubled down in this Jesus week. So let's begin to break it down a little bit. Jesus is a symbol of what it means to embody our consciousness and our own divinity. And so there's an element of this story that prior to what we consider traditional Holy Week, some things that lead up to it that are, how many people know the context of leading up to something is important, right? Got to know a little bit of background going into something. It always makes, the story a little richer. And so the context leading up to this is Jesus is out ministering, and word comes to him that his from Mary and her sister that you need to come back to Bethany and you need to help your friend Lazarus, right? He's Mary's brother. He's in trouble. He's not well, and you need to come. And Jesus basically says, I'll get there when I get there, but I'm busy doing what I'm doing. I'm ministering. And he takes his time. But by the time he gets there, Lazarus is dead. He's actually been dead a couple days. And the ladies give him a what for about it. They're like, if you were here a couple days ago, right, he'd still be alive, right? And so where you been? And Jesus says, chill out. I got this. And this is the Alexander interpretation of the Bible this morning. We're not quoting scripture and verse today. He said, did you know Jesus told Mary to chill out? That was the last time he said that to her. Because you don't do that. Right? But he says, I got this. And there's a part in scripture where it says Jesus wept. And there's a part in our journey that, I thought a lot about that particular passage this week. And I thought, he wept because his friend was gone. He wept because maybe he felt some guilt or shame that he hadn't gotten there in time. But when you look at the whole arc of the story and you understand that he understands that he's going through this transformation and he's been out there doing the work, he's been out there ministering, he's been out there trying to teach people about the divinity within themselves, it's painful when you know something about the divinity and the wholeness of your own being to watch other people deny it, right? To suffer and to not heal. Right? It's painful. Sometimes we experience that as parents, right? It's painful to watch our children go through something and we can't help them because it's their journey. Ooh, it's painful, right? It's painful to watch your partner or coworker or friend or somebody you grew up with to go through something and you can see it because maybe you've been through it, or maybe you just have enough life experience and awareness, or maybe you've got a particular degree in something. My child development degree gets me in trouble all the time. because I can see stuff. And I'm like, I can see what's happening here. I can't say nothing about it because it's not my journey. No way for me to show up to that in a way that won't look like lecturing and trying to manipulate and all that. I can't do that. Right? So beings got to go on their own journey. So you know that pain? I think that's part of the pain of why Jesus wept. Because he knew it wasn't necessary for Lazarus to die. He also knew it wasn't necessary that he had to come rescue him. I think part of the pain of Jesus' weeping is even in the request that came to him as he's out doing his work, because he's trying to ultimately to liberate people. He's trying to say, you have this power within you. You have the kingdom within you. You have this access. You have this knowledge. You have this divinity within you. All you have to do is speak your word and it will be done. You got to know this. Right? Don't let the powers that be and the manipulation of the Pharisees and all the systems and structures of oppression that are around you, don't let those things get you down. You have this within you. And yet, they come running to him, will you fix it? Like, I just got finished telling you, you can fix it. Why are you asking me to fix it? Right? So I think there's this moment where he's going through and he's saying, oh, they're still not getting it. They're still not getting it. Okay, let me show him one more time. Let me show him one more time. Roll the stone away. Mary says, oh, he's been in there a couple days. It's going to smell. Roll the stone away. Right? And he calls into that space. Come forth, because I know there's something within you that still lives. It might smell right now. It might look like this. It might look like the conditions might be what they are, but there is a divinity within you which is eternal, so come forth. And Lazarus come forth. Right? And he's kind of like, okay, one more time. One more time I got to show him how it works. And then he plays it cool because he knows that this is not turning water into wine. Right? This is going to get out. You know, the party tricks. The word is going to travel. Did you hear what Jesus did? OMG. People be tweeting and texting, and it'd be all over the Twitterverse, right? It'd be trending right now. Hashtag Lazarus. Trending. Right? How do you like that modern sermonizing right there? You like that? And so he knows it's going to get out, and he knows it's going to cause a buzz, and he knows everybody's gathering in Jerusalem for Passover, it's a big festival, big festivities, families getting together, etc. The word is going to get out, and they're going to be after him. They're already on him enough because he's out there teaching. You know, and this is a side tangent, which I might unpackage a little bit more next week. But, you know, Jesus spent more time talking about corporate sin, meaning collective, societal, and how our individual showing up plays into that or doesn't play into that. He spent more time talking about that than he really did individual sin. He did not die for individual sin. He died for the sins of the Pharisees, the sins of the system. Western Christianity in particular, evangelical Christianity, spends all of its time talking about individual sin and needing to be saved for that. And they do that, I think, in a way to keep themselves wrapped up in a narrative that has them avoid talking about collective sin, societal, injustices, systemic injustices. We don't need to talk about that because we're talking all this about the individual. Jesus wasn't so concerned about that. I'm not saying he never talked about it, but he was more concerned about the system that we were living in, that people weren't poor just because they were poor, and their consciousness wasn't at fault, but that there was a system that was keeping them poor. People were outcasts, and they weren't just living on the trashy side of town or near the Gehenna, or what was called hell, which was the pit where they burned all the trash. It was an open fire pit, right? And the lepers and the people without resource, people who've been abandoned by their family, they lived out there because they couldn't live anywhere. But there was a system that kept them in place. It wasn't just individual consciousness. Well, you just need to pick yourself up by your bootstraps and move yourself into town. No, there's a system that's got to change because there's a system that's holding that all in place. Yeah, the individual's got to be empowered and they've got to take control of their consciousness, but the system needs to change too. The system is corrupt in and of itself. And that's what really upset the Pharisees. Jesus wasn't just a Tony Robbins. Tony Robbins would have never been crucified, right? Sorry, Tony. No offense. I'm just trying to make a point here, and I'm just using you for it. Sorry about that. Right? And nothing wrong with the Tony Robbins seminar, right? Get pumped up, believe in yourself, understand the power that you have within you, understand the power of your word and your consciousness. That's all good stuff. But Jesus was doing more than that. He was directing it at the systems itself, much in the way Dr. King was doing in his day, right? And so word was getting out. I'm really off script on my notes here, so I got to find myself. And then he goes to Bethany to do Lazarus. Then he goes and he cools off for a couple of days in a little town called Ephraim. And then eventually makes this decision to move into Jerusalem on the donkey for Passover. He says, gather the family, go to this. You're going to see this guy carrying some water. He's going to know where to go. There's a room. There's an upper room. Get everything ready. We're coming. And he knows a couple of things. One, it's hard to talk about these events without talking about the social political narrative that is also taking place. That these scriptures are dog whistles to a degree for justice movements, right? It's a signal to systemic stuff. The coming in on a donkey, right? The Romans are going to do this big grand military parade and come in and show all of their might right through the middle of town while everybody's celebrating Passover. And so in many ways, Jesus' riding on the donkey is a snub in the face of the system's military might being shown off. And he's saying, this is what power looks like. This is what power looks like. Not this parade that you're putting on, but this is what it looks like, right? So all of these things in the text are all subplotted narratives, but nevertheless, I've spoken lots about those over the years, but I'm going to try to move on. It's hard not to speak to them just a little bit. But the places, Bethany, means literally the house of affliction, or the place of depression, or the place where that gets transformed or overcome. Ephraim, where he goes to hang out for a couple of days before he makes this decision, literally means doubly fruitful or highly productive. And Jerusalem means the place of peace, the holy city, the place ultimately then of Christ consciousness. And the palms today, we tend to think of them as symbols of martyrdom, but they're actually symbols of victory, because Jerusalem is not where palms come from. This is where the sound of the needle coming off the record. What? What do you mean? It's Palm Sunday. Everybody came out. He came into town. They heard, and they put the palm branches down, right? That's what we've all been told. Well, where in the world would they have gotten palm branches? Because they weren't native to Jerusalem. Palms, the palm trees, were in Jericho. Say more, Pastor. Jericho is where Joshua fit the battle, right? You know the song? Fit the battle of Jericho, and the walls came tumbling down. Jericho symbolizes material wealth, right? In the metaphysical Bible interpretation. Joshua is the precursor in name and in energy in the arc of the story to Jesus, right? Yeshua. And so the palms symbolize victory over the system. Victory over materialism, victory, Christ's consciousness over the other. The palms are, so again, the narrative is very likely that in reality, people probably, as they were prone to do back in those days, tore off their clothes and put them down as an act of holiness or recognition. But decades later, when they're trying to write the story and they're writing into it political undertones, they change it to palm branches, because they want the empire to know this is what victory looks like. But I'm not talking about empire today, so I say it's hard. It's hard to do these stories and not at least touch it a little bit so that you know what I'm talking about. And then ultimately, communion, right? Which comes out of the celebration of this Passover dinner. If he went into town and he went into this upper room with his disciples and sat down and had this Last Supper, it would have been a Passover meal. And the Passover meal is very ritualistic and very symbolic. And it would have had on the plate this unleavened bread. And in the traditional Passover service, they would take that bread, which symbolizes their liberation from Egypt. The bread didn't have time to rise. You know all those stories, right? And they would hold it up and they would say, this bread is the bread of affliction, which our fathers ate in the land of Egypt. Let all who are hungry come and eat. Let all who are in want come and celebrate this Passover with us. May it be God's will to redeem us from all evil and all slavery. It was the serving of this bread to remind the journey that we have been on, the journey that the people had been on, the liberation that had occurred. And so when Jesus takes it and Jesus says, this bread is my body, he is acting as a New Thought Jew. Right? He's really the first New Thought guy. He's born and raised in this religious tradition, and he's bringing new awareness and new consciousness and new interpretation to it. And he's saying, take this bread, this bread of affliction, which symbolizes the journey of liberation, the journey of slavery, the journey of all of those things, the journey of oppression. Break the bread. Eat the bread. Embody it. And do this in remembrance of me. In remembrance of me, what I am demonstrating, what I am showing you, what has been placed upon my heart and mind to do and to be in the world is a demonstration that the affliction of the world, the affliction of the system, the affliction of oppression, the affliction of injustices of the world don't hold you down. You have something inside of you that is bigger than that. You have something inside of you that transcends all of that. Eat this, remember this, become this. Break the affliction with your conscious mind. Break the affliction of addiction. Break the affliction of victimhood. Break the affliction of otherness. Break the affliction of us and them and who can sit at the table and who can't. Break the affliction of who has and who has not based on society's rules. Break the affliction of who can, can I say this right now? Can I say, break the affliction of who's allowed to sit on the Supreme Court or not? Break the affliction. And just in case we wanted people to remember what was happening, we picked somebody named Ketanji. You're not going to forget the symbolism there. Ketanji. Let's take it one more step. Brown. Just so that we're real clear. And just to put a little spice on it, Jackson. Hey. You can't miss that. You can't miss what God is doing there. You break the affliction. You break the affliction of the societal systems that says who's in and who's not. It wasn't about individual sin. It wasn't about salvation. It was about break the chain of the systems that are operating, the consciousness that is operating. The early believers saw communion as a celebration, not a somber time to remember our sins and died for us and all that, but do this and remember it's a celebration that we have the power of liberation within us. We have the ability to say yes, to declare, as Jesus did with Lazarus, this thing is not dead, right? There's something within me which is eternal. I'm going to step out on a branch here. I'm going to do something that's going to draw some attention to me. And others may talk about me, and others may rumor about me, and the system might come down on me harsh, but I'm going to do it anyway because it's what is in my soul to do. And I know that I can't be limited by the effects of the world, right? Break the affliction of being separated from your power. I got a whole section in here from Howard Thurman on systemic injustice. I'm going to skip all that. All of this is to say that our job is to rise in our power, to remember that we're here on purpose with a soul mission. As we dance in our lives, we can be inspired by the blessed wisdom of other traditions. We can choose to admire and honor our Muslim siblings celebrating Ramadan. And in honoring of the teachings of Islam, we can fast from negative and limited belief habits. We can turn away from thoughts that have kept us separate from God. We can establish a disciplined mind which keeps us centered and aligned in our consciousness and our oneness with infinite spirit. And as we fast from judgment and fear and separation, we can embrace equity and social justice and keep our hearts open to creating and maintaining a world that works for all. When we choose loving awareness, we move into our own Passover experience, leaving behind the ways of thinking which no longer serve. We bless that which has gone before, the journey that we have come on. And we say in this remembrance, in the Passover, the remembrance is different, right? In the Passover, the remembrance is we remember the journey that we've been on. We remember the hardships. We remember the difficult days. And we remember that we're no longer there. And we're grateful that we're no longer there. There's also on the Passover plate, there's stuff that is bitter to remind us of the suffering and those who have lost and the lives that have been lost, the babies that didn't get to grow up and all of those things, right? The bread of affliction, the bitterness, and then the sweetness. To remember that we've been on a journey, but that's in the past now. And as we remember it, we lift ourselves up into a new way of being. We come into a new awareness and a new opportunity to create community together. And finally, when faced with challenges or struggle or loss, we hold ourselves in love and in gentleness and compassion. We look for people and places that always support our knowing. Places like Spiritual Living Center of Atlanta, where we know that there's an unlimited reservoir of strength within us. And we can be reminded of that every step of the day, that there is that which comes out of the tomb to live again, no matter what happened during the week before we got here. Because the I am resides within us. Do this in remembrance of me. Don't forget. He wanted to tell his disciples, don't forget. This lives in you. It's not just history on a page. It's not just what happened in the past. It's not just symbolism for the sake of symbolism. It's in you. It lives in you. It is you. Drink this. Take it in. Embody it. And then live it. And from that place, no system of oppression can touch you. No rules or regulations can limit your being. You can do, be, and excel into any life. And you doing so will help liberate others, and the world will be a better place for it. This is what it means to dance with the divine. We all have circumstances and conditions in the particular that sometimes come up as surprises, as weeds in the garden. That we say, well, I didn't plant that. I don't know how that got there. But we got to dance with the divine if we're going to cultivate the soil and create the garden that we want. We're going to have to deal with whatever rises up and say, I don't know particularly how or why that came into my awareness, but there it is. Let's deal with it. Let's dance with that divine appointment, and let's move past it. And let's remember the divinity that remains within us. Yes? So today I dance with the divine, knowing that every step of my journey is rightly ordered. I move with the creative flow, knowing that I've come to break every chain of affliction that holds me back from my true and authentic self. Today, I take the triumphant journey into my wholeness. Let's do it again together, if I can get this working. Hey, today, I dance with the divine, knowing every step of my journey is rightly ordered. I move with creative flow, knowing that I have come to break every chain of affliction that holds me back from my true and authentic self. Today, I take the triumphant journey into my wholeness. And so it is, and so we let it be. Amen. Ashe. God bless you. Have a great day.
Thank you, Reverend David, for that beautiful message. How many of you are going to be back next week for part 2? Yes. Let's give David a hand, another hand. Now we'd like to take time in our service to acknowledge our first-time visitors. If this is your first time at SLCA, we invite you to stand so that we can give you a good, warm welcome. Our ushers are handing you a gift just for you. Please join a welcome ambassador for fellowship in the lobby following service. We're so grateful that you're here today. Thank you for choosing the Spiritual Living Center of Atlanta as part of your celebration today. We welcome each of you that are in need of prayer to remain in the room for one-on-one prayer with a licensed practitioner. Practitioners will be available on both sides of the room. As we enter our time of grateful giving, we want to thank each of you that faithfully give to SLCA. It is because of your contributions that we can continue to spread our message of oneness. If you were inspired by this message today, please consider becoming a regular pledger or give what is in your heart today. You can conveniently give on our website, or you can text your gift to 404-800-9467. You'll see that number on the screen. You may also give with a credit card using our digital program with the QR code displayed also on the screen. If you wish to give by cash or check, our ushers will be coming through the aisles shortly to receive your contribution. Now, if you would, please join me in saying our grateful giving affirmation. I live in a universe of abundance. As I freely and joyfully give, I join in the divine flow, and all that I share with life returns to me multiplied abundantly. And so it is.
Thank you, Richard, and thank you for wonderful service, Reverend Dr. David. Yes, 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 yes. And welcome our newcomer in the room. I love that. It's so good to see you. I know she came, she says, I'm from Columbus, Georgia. I said, all right, you get the Commuter Award today. I invite all of you to stand in the room. Let's close with our closing song. It's good to be together. Let's stay together, enjoying some hospitality afterwards. We envision a world that works for everyone and for all of creation. We see all people, all beings as expressions of God. We see a world that works for everyone. We envision a world that works for everyone and for all of creation. We see all people, expressions of God. We see a world that works for everyone. We envision a world that works for everyone and for all of creation. We see all people, all beings as expressions of God. We see a world that works for everyone. We see a world that works for everyone. We see a world, yes, works for everyone. Everyone, everyone, everyone. Yes, yes, yes. Keep singing that all day long. We love you so much.